And here is the website. Thank you so much, everybody, for your patience on this. So give me 1 second here. And hello and welcome. My name is Alec Pokernowski, and I work on the PropertyBase platform here at Lone Wolf. And I've been working with Louis, Alma, and Clar for getting the website up and running and the CRM up and running as well. Hopefully you all are as excited for me to be here. Take a sip of your coffee, so because you're going to be hearing me talk for way too much over the next hour and everything like that too. But initially, to get started, this is going to be how the site will look when you first get to it and everything like that too. You may see featured agents and everything like that as well. And everyone starting to be added in, which is great. So hopefully we'll be able to get the site live, ready, and soon. How you will log in as agents and everything is actually going to be the same way a client will log in. So you'll just log in the top right-hand corner. Then you'll be able to log in with your email and your password. Those passwords will be able to be sent out to you as soon as the training's over and everything like that. Or if you already have it, you can log directly in and start adding in your contacts and things like that too. I'm going to go ahead and log directly in with my admin login. And we're going to be able to see the dashboard. So what we have here is essentially what will be showcased to you once you initially log onto the admin portion of the site. So we're actually able to go ahead and see like announcements, so any major announcements that come from the company at all, any latest posts, so anything that does in fact come from the Twitter or YouTube feed, from the brokerage or anything like that at all. You can even see further down here, your top contacts only. So right now I can see more of the whole brokerage, so I can see everybody's contacts here at this moment in time, and any reporting that you can technically see right now in this section is just what status your client is in or what part of the actual transaction they're in. So are they new? Are they waiting to do something? Are they a current client? Anything like that too. You can also see your current transactions. So as soon as you do connect your .loop accounts, which I believe that that's the system you are using within transactions, and I'll show you that if we have some time near the end today to showcase that. We'll be able to showcase that here. But you can also see what current transactions you currently have within the site as well. You also have events and tasks on this right-hand side. So any events that you have created for yourself, which could be a showing, a meeting with a client, or anything like that, that will be available within tasks and events, or any tasks that are assigned to you for any follow-ups, anything that you have to do for the client or anything like that will be available here too. And then also listings. So as soon as you add in your MLS IDs to your profiles and everything like that too, when you log in, you'll be able to see your listings here. You can see which ones are active, pending, and sold as well. And then we can also add in resources for you as well. So that way, anyone from leadership down, if there's anything that anyone would like to be able to get their hands on or anything like that too, will just be available within resources. And if you want to remove certain sections, if it seems cumbersome when you first log in, you can also go ahead and click on this up and down arrow too. So in case you do want to see anything or not see anything, you can also go ahead and then move things up or down however you would feel comfortable with, or anything like that too. But the initial thing that we're going to focus on today, and what will take up a bulk of our time, is going to be contacts. So I did click on contacts in this top left-hand corner here on this far side of the blue menu. And what we're going to do today is we're actually going to go ahead and create a contact from scratch. So how we do that is if you actually go to the right-hand side here, is we're going to click the blue create button. As soon as we do that, we're going to be going ahead and doing a few important things that I'm going to show you in this terms of like classification, fun tips and tricks and everything like that as well when you do in fact create your contacts. I'm going to go ahead and add myself in as a contact today. So that way, whoever I assign myself to is going to have the luxury of sending me all the fun properties that they possibly could. So that way I can sell the house I just bought and now maybe move down to Texas instead. So whatever you guys want to do, totally fine, but I kid. I will be adding in my phone number in here today too, if my system allows me. So let's go ahead and do that. 7350. There we go. And then I do want to go ahead and put in what type of number it is. Our system actually denotes by phone type. If clients are actually able to be texted or not from our system, you can reach out via text to our clients in this system. So always make sure that if you do add your client's phone number in here and you know for a fact that it is a cell phone number, make sure that the type is set to cell, because our system won't automatically do that for you or anything like that as well. Also put in my email address, so that way I can be emailed to directly from the system or anything like that. You can add multiple phone numbers if you'd like to. It is completely up to you. We do allow up to 3 phone numbers at a time. So if you do want to have a home phone number, or in this case, we also include a fax number or a work phone number, you can also include that too if you'd like to. But we do up to 3. You can also go ahead and send this information to a contact. Right now, as we're going through the onboarding phase, I did turn this off, but once we do turn this back on, we can send out an automatic email to clients saying that I'll receive this, like in this case, since I'm being created, I'll receive this, and it'll say, welcome to House Matchmaker Group LLC.com from my agent and everything like that too. And I'll actually show you how I'll be able to assign this out. And it'll include my email, which is also my login, and then my password, which will just be a randomly generated password. So I'll be able to go ahead and get that, or I can go ahead and I can just create my own password right here for the client. And I'll just go ahead and just make mine a very secretive 1, 2, 3, 4 to make it super easy. Next, we have another section called contact assignment. So how do we go ahead and choose our contacts to be whatever they're currently looking for? Like, do you know if your contact's just looking? Are they buying? Are they selling? Are they buying and selling? Are they flipping their home? Are they renting, commercial, anything else? Are they other agents or brokers? Or you just want to keep them in the loop of whatever you're doing? And we do also include other parts of the real estate process. Or it could be landlords, short-term renters, appraisers, anything like that as well. And you're able to choose from the ones that we currently have. Next, we have status. So in this case, we do have different statuses for where we currently are at within the actual client transaction process as well. So we have new for new clients, incubating for clients waiting to do something with you, a current client or anything like that as well. So they're starting to begin a transaction or anything like that. UAG is under agreement. I added in this test one as just a fun use case for a training that we had as part of the leadership team. Then we also have closed, as in terms of like the actual information is then closed, like they're done. Inactive, which means like client for me, that would not be that hasn't been really working with you for, let's say, about like 3 to 6 months. And then dead, the client's no longer a viable lead or anything like that, or contact or anything like that as well. I'd say I'm going to put myself in as a test lead today. We do have priority as well. So if you know this person's a high priority, like they're trying to buy their house or sell their house really quickly, you can also go ahead and choose that. I'm going to put myself as a high priority in here, just so we do have that information. I'm also going to go ahead and reassign myself today. So who in the chat do I want to assign myself to? I know Raul had a question here. Raul, I do see your question. Is this done on Lone Wolf? I may not understand what your question is. Do you mind unmuting and if you don't mind just asking that question? Or maybe explaining it a little bit?
Yeah, so that portal that we use for like house matchmakers, is it done through like, is this the same web page?
Yep. So everything that you're going to be doing now, for like the website and logging in and everything like that too, it's going to be this link once it updates to the main domain and everything like that too. I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. No,
Okay.
we're good. Don't worry.
Okay, no worries. I just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
This also means that I'm going to become your lead. So Raul, I'm going to have you start sending me stuff later on today. So here, let's go ahead and make sure.
Sounds good.
I have you stuff here. Sure.
Hey, Alec, can you hear me?
Yes, Lewis, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Hey, question.
Yes.
Sorry, hang on. Let me close my door.
No worries at all. I'm going to assign myself to Alma today. Sorry, Raul. I apologize. But yes, Lewis, what is your question?
I think what Raul wanted to know is we currently use intranet or Lone Wolf to process our brokerage documents for compliance. We also use that for communication.
I
Does
see.
this system sync in any way with that?
I'd have to double check, but to my prior knowledge, no, not at this moment in time. I'll see if there is a link or a way to maybe make it a bookmark, but right now, it would just be its own system separately
Sounds good.
from
Thank
that
you.
Lone Wolf system. We are working on adding a lot of things together since we were acquired a few years back, but those processes usually just take time. But for right now, anything that you'll be doing in terms of adding leads or adding anything like that, will be directly on the PropertyBase platform and everything like that too, just for anyone who was curious. So thank you for that. So sorry, Raul, I'm going to assign myself to Alma today. But in this case, what will happen is for you as agents, you won't have to choose an assigned agent. It'll just go directly to you whenever you do create it. I can just assign because I have admin capability. So I'll be able to go ahead and do that. And then it'll also automatically update to whatever office you're assigned to as well. In this case, the house matchmaker office and everything like that too. You'll also be assigned as the owner and everything like that too. So in this case, if any lead ever gets rerouted or anything like that too, like in this case, if me as if I get reassigned from Alma to, let's say, to Lewis or any of the other agents on here, then Alma would be the original owner and everything like that as well. We have here company information. So if you do want to put in their job company or job title, like if you work with a specific group of people, or if anything like that, or like if you just have like a whole like new company that just opened up a whole new business there and you want to get their information, you can put in their info. Like here I have Lone Wolf, which is who I work for, and then I can put in my job title, which is implementation. I never said I can spell it. I know I do it. So I can put in my job as implementation specialist here at Lone Wolf as well. So that way you can also work that within your marketing a little bit later on. Other contact details that we can add in is moving time frame. So when are you moving? We have 1 to 4 weeks to up to 6 to 12 months. And then we also have just looking. So if people are just looking for homes, you can also include that kind of information. What's your desired price range? So let's say I put mine in there. And then what's my current housing situation? Let's say right now, I just live with my family. So I go ahead and I can fill this information out. This can also be filled out on the contact page of the website, but you'll also be able to go ahead and then manually edit this information too. So then it can be used for later. We can also fill out these 2 calendars. The purchase and sale due date, in this case, one of those forms due that you'll need to sign before your sale can finalize. And then when exactly is your closing date and everything like that as well. So we're able to go ahead and put these things in there too. So that way it also works within our marketing later on. More information you can add in here is street address info. So you can put in the actual address, like number, address, city, state. And we also do use other countries as well. So if you do want to if you have any international people coming in that want to become contacts or buy property here or sell property here or anything like that, you can include different countries if you'd like to. And then you can also include their postal codes and everything like that as well. Next part of our system is going to be the email settings. Right now, our system allows us to go ahead and receive save search emails. It doesn't have to just be daily, but it can also be campaigns and newsletters as well. So I can receive drip campaigns and also e-blasts / newsletters. We can also add in a secondary person onto this. Our system right now, there is no way to merge contacts at all. So let's say I'm working with a husband and wife team, and the wife is going to be the main person to be able to go ahead and add a person in. So like, let's say my wife is on here, right? But I'm the main contact. So I can go ahead and make sure I put in her name. So I can put in my wife, Pokermowski. I can put in her email, her phone number, and the relationship between us. So that way, whatever I receive in terms of an email, I'll also be able to go ahead, and my wife would also then receive all that same information that I do, but it'll just still be addressed to me and everything like that as well. Other details that we actually include is we can actually add properties to the actual MLS profile here. So if you are, sorry, the contact profile. So if you do have any people that are trying to sell a property or anything like that, this is more what it's used for. You can actually add in that property here by typing in the address or the ID number. And then you can also subscribe to listing reports for this. And then we can include more like data from that in terms of like people who are looking at it, who have inquired about it, interested in it, anything like that too. You can receive that report daily, weekly, monthly, or quarterly, and you can put in any comments regarding the home that they may be associated with or anything like that too. And they could be anything ranging from like seller instructions to just the house needs a new coat of paint. So you can put on whatever you'd like. Next, we do have how do we hear about you? So how do we hear about you? Like, let's say I heard directly from an email. What did I come from a website? In this case, what website did I come from? Any general comments that you want to make about your lead, you can put directly within here. We also have a few different other fields that we can add in as well. So if you have like a birthday and you want to make sure your client's birthdays are in there, you can go ahead and type it in with the year, month, and day, or you can use the calendar function here. You can put in a custom lead source if you want to. That's usable for yourself. So you can just go ahead and just type in whatever you'd like and then use it. We added in a rating system for you guys. So if you want to do A+ down to C, you can use that. And then we also have a general tag here for the custom champion student. That was just a custom one that we added in for anyone who may be using that within the brokerage. And then lastly, within here, we have contact tags. So this is different than this one. So make sure that when you do start to play around with this, that you do know that there is a difference between tags and the general tag that I made. This one has two functions, which is going to be really cool for you to use. This one allows you to go ahead and create a way to classify your leads. So let's say I go ahead and I just make this one called test. This creates a tag for you to use on other leads as well. However, they're only meant for singular agents. So if I create a tag and if I create the one for tag, and then let's say Lewis had a tag for pets or something like that too, and he gets my lead, he can't see the test tag that I have for that lead, or I wouldn't be able to see his tag for pets at all. These tags are meant to be individualized and meant for your usage because it also creates a marketing list. So that means that anybody that gets added to this test tag from now on, and I add them to a marketing list, which I'll go over in my next training, can then be eligible to receive drip campaigns and e-blasts and other stuff like that too. So I'm going to go ahead and create the contact. I do want to take a second because I have been talking for a little bit, and I want to see if anyone has any questions on how to create a lead.
I have a question.
Yes.
Back up where it says rating A+, A. What was that? I didn't.
It was just something that we were playing around with while we were going through the onboarding phase. It was just a rating system that I think came from a previous system that you guys used or anything like that. It's just a field if you want to use it or not. That one that's custom, that's usually not native to our system.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem at all. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. The next bit here that I'm going to be talking about is the client's profile. So what we have here is how it will look once you actually just click into a client's profile after you go back to contacts. So here we have like the type that they are, their status, their priority, who the agent is. Then even going further down, like here's my tag that I'm assigned, here's my moving time frame, here's my price range, what I'm doing, what kind of contact type I am, which I actually do want to become a contact type. So I'm going to go ahead and change that really quickly, just so we have that. I do want to actually have a contact type in here. My apologies. And then we can go a little bit further down, like what's my company name, my job title, what's my priority, all this kind of stuff that I filled out earlier. And then also my contact history as well. So I'm opted into email updates because I have a fully functional email. And then on the left-hand side, we can actually go through a few other things as well. So like what website activity am I doing? What properties am I looking at? In this case, it'll give me the address, price range, beds and baths and everything like that too. And then we also have searches. So what searches am I doing? So am I looking in specific cities, neighborhoods, counties, towns, anything like that? What price ranges am I looking at and everything like that too? Also, what toolbar activity do I have? In this case, if I go to the main site and search for anything like that, I can inquire about a property. I can schedule a showing. I can email things to a friend, or even I can schedule a showing. In this case, the requested date that they have, and then they'll submit a date that they'll actually want to have the showing on, or anything like that too. You're able to go ahead and then pick and choose certain things that you want as well on there. And then any form submissions. So did they reach out to you via a contact form or anything like that too? Any general notes for the clients, or you're able to go ahead and add in notes for the client at all. So in this case, if I added in a note for myself, like let's say I just put in test, test, test. This means that I have a note in here now that I made, and it's also date and timestamp. So if anyone sees this note, you'll see it was done at this time regarding any information regarding the client or anything like that too. Favorited properties. This actually allows you to go ahead and favorite a property within the actual site. So clients can go ahead and do that. And we can actually do that within the listings tab as well. So I'm actually going to do a quick segue over from our section here to then our listings tab. So buckle up, everybody. We're moving. So here today, we're going to be taking a look at the listings tab, which is right here. It's our back-end use of the MLS system, and allows us to kind of see more information from the MLS. Like right now, we're just showing the brokerage listings only, but I want to go ahead and I want to add in a favorite listing for a client. On the left-hand side here, or sorry, the top right, I apologize, but on this left-hand area, we can actually go ahead and click on these three dots. We can actually do a few different things. We can send this listing to a contact. So I can go ahead and I can choose which contact it's going to be sent to. I can send it to me, and I can also send it via text message. So I can go ahead and send this directly to me. I can also go ahead and add this to contact favorites as well. So if I want to add this as a favorite, I can go ahead and have this added in here too, and I can be notified via email for that. I can also go ahead and add notes for a contact on a specific property. So like if you type in a contact name, and then you want to say for that 11-13-114 Northam Road in Houston, I can say this property has a door. And I can go ahead and I can just update that and even send it via email telling me that this property here has a door. So I'm able to go ahead and then receive that information. What the system can also do, which is actually pretty cool, is if you go ahead and let's say we just remove brokerage listings only, and I want to look for homes across all of Texas or anything like that based on the MLS and everything like that too. In this case, we can go ahead and actually click on this filter right here. And then we can pull in any information that we want. So I can go ahead and I can choose, let's say I'm looking in Houston. In Houston, I'm looking for single family listings. I'm looking for 3 beds, 3 baths, or sorry, 1.5 baths between 400,000 and 600,000. We can also go ahead and actually save this search for clients as well. On the right-hand side, we can actually go ahead and click this save search button. You can subscribe it to yourself. So in this case, if you're logged in and you want to start receiving searches in a certain area or anything like that, you can go ahead and just give it a name, and then go ahead and do that, and then receive information daily, weekly, monthly, or never. You can subscribe a contact to that. So we can go ahead and let's say I put test on there. I'll actually assign this to myself, and then I can receive information, same, immediate, daily, weekly, monthly, or never. I can also subscribe a full list of contacts to that, but we'll be going over that on next week. So I'll actually go ahead and just subscribe myself to this. And then I'm actually going to go back to my profile here. And we're going to see a few things have actually changed since I actually moved away from this client profile page to then the listing section. So let's actually go to my favorite properties now, so we can see that this was added by another person. So you can also add favorite properties for your clients too, ones that may be within their price range or maybe within their standard of living or anything like that too. Like what beds do they want, what baths do they want, square footage, anything like that that may be available. This save search was also created for me. So if I actually scroll down, I have a favorited property save search. So whenever we do favorite a property for clients, or if the client does it themselves, it gives them similar properties. And then there's also another one called tests that I created. So for Houston, for minimum price and maximum price, 600, 400 to 600,000, single family, minimum beds and baths, and so on and so forth from there. I can also go ahead and just create new ones that I want to for my clients too. I can also go ahead and see the delivery history. So if I see any of these go out and see if it's been opened or closed or anything like that too, you're able to see that within the system and everything like that as well. I'm actually going to go ahead and create a new search just so you can kind of see it if you just want to do it from scratch. So let's say I go ahead and I remove certain bits of information that I don't want. I'm going to keep the price there. I can also go ahead and give it a new search. So I'm going to call it new test search. So I'll give it a new name. I wanted to showcase this to you specifically because it's important. This immediate option is really good to use because you can also send things to clients via text message. However, we do use an immediate option. This means that we send things out usually in batches of every 15 minutes or so. And this also includes new properties, status changes, and price changes. It can be open house changes. It can just be brokerage properties only, or even anything further down below, like single family. I'm only looking for active listings. I'm also wanting to know that there's a minimum of at least half an acre on there. It has to be at least on market for 0 to 30 days or anything like that. And the list can go on and on. But for the immediate option, you want to make sure you are as specific as possible, because if you start receiving an email like emails and text messages from a person, and it just becomes too much over time and everything like that too, it would be a lot for me. I may not be the first person to say that, but I would always just want to make sure that if you do want to use the immediate option, always make sure that you are being as specific as possible. Like I am, like I'm choosing Galveston, Texas. I'm choosing minimum price and maximum price, beds and baths, property type and status, acreage, days on market, everything like that. It's always especially good to make sure that you are as granular as possible in your searches. This option is the only option that will actually include text message. Every other option is just daily, weekly. It's all emails, monthly, or if you just want to be able to look at it whenever you want to, or anything like that, you can also choose never. So if I just want to log in as a client and then just look at this at my own leisure instead of just having things sent to me, I can also go ahead and do that too. And I'll just create this to be never, so I don't actually receive anything. Next bit of important information within the client's profile is actually going to be a little bit further down here within the email marketing. This actually allows us to go ahead and see what email lists. So in this case, what marketing lists am I going to be a part of to then be eligible to receive what drip campaigns, what email blasts or text blasts or anything like that too. If I actually scroll down a little bit further, I'm added to House Matchmaker group all contacts. I'm part of the buyers because my type is buying and selling. And then this is the drip campaign that I'll actually receive. I'll also be able to go ahead and be a part of the House Matchmaker group sellers because I'm also a buyer and a seller. So I'll also get this drip campaign as well. And then since I'm actually assigned to Alma, I'll be able to be assigned to any of her information too. I can see this because I have admin privileges. You'll just be able to see your own. in this case. So anyone who's logging in as an agent, you'll just be able to see everything just by yourselves and everything like that too. You can also add things to other lists as well. So if I want to be added to any other personal list I want to be added to, I can also add myself to other lists as well that I created myself or anything like that too. And then I can also see on here, am I a part of any drip campaigns? What campaign am I a part of? What step are we in right now? And is there email content or is it a text being sent out? Because we can actually do both. What's the send delay? So how many days in between is it from the start? So is it a day from the start, 2 weeks from the start, 3 months from the start, 4 years from the start? You can actually do that. And then we can also do email history. So was it opened, closed, anything like that too? Or did it bounce? Which is also good to know. We also do the same thing for email blasts. So what's the name, what content was sent out, when was it delivered, and then was it open, closed, bounced, invalid, anything like that as well. Lastly, in terms of important sections that you want to take a look at is this messages section. So we also can email clients directly from the system. Fun thing that you can actually do is if you click this plus sign, you can actually go ahead and let's say I just put in a subject line. So this is going to be a welcome to the website. And then we can just start typing away whatever you want to do. So typing away. But there's also a cool thing that you can actually do. So instead of just making your own emails within here, just by typing it in, you can actually use email content that's available from the company. So in this case, if I do this checking in one, it actually brings in that, since I'm not a technical broker in here, it doesn't show, or an agent, it doesn't show the company logo, but it will for you guys. But it'll include my name and information. It'll include a button to explore my communities that I work within, my email signature, and then like the address for everything like that too. And then if I send this out to myself, and then if the client actually responds to it, it'll all be captured within here as well. Same thing for text messages. If I just send out a text message and I click this send a text message button, I can go ahead and I can just do test, test, test. And then I can go ahead and then respond to this. And then any messages that your leads would then send back to you directly would then go ahead and then be received within here as well. That's all I want to go over in terms of the client's profile at this moment in time, as well as the listings tab. I'll be going over how to import contacts next, but I wanted to see if anyone had any questions before I move forward on importing leads.
I do have one question.
Yes.
When you send for example, the text messages through the page or like our profile,
Yes.
do they get the text message with the number that we create here or original or personal phone number, for example?
That is actually a very good question. And I'll actually take a second to talk about that right now. So
Okay.
how this works is if I actually go to the agents tab, and I'll actually go ahead and you can go to your own files and do this, but who actually just asked me that question? I do apologize for asking.
Oh, it's me, Magdalena.
Magdalena? Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
Magdalena. All right, let's see. Here we go. I think I just passed your name. Okay, there we go. All right. So Magdalena here is going to be, is this your profile right here? Is this you?
Yes, that's me.
Awesome. So what actually happens here is that we do actually have a phone number here for you. So this is your cell phone, this is your office phone, and this is your text number as well. That is available. So right now, if you want to, you can also update it to match like the area code too, if you want to. But right now we have it as a 346 area code because I believe that they may be a more local area code. You can also update it, but it'll usually show up with this phone number here. But it will denote like who you are, where you're coming from, like in my text, and I can send this over as part of like a screenshot from my system to then I'll send it over to Lewis to then share with everybody. It will include your name, who it's coming from, and everything like that too. But if I text back, you'll actually receive a response to your normal cell phone number and everything like that too. So even
Okay.
though they may be seeing this number, or if you want to update it to match the area code as well, it will always go back to you directly, and then you can actually text back and forth from your phone and everything like that too.
Okay, good deal. Thank you.
No problem at all. And I think Melvin was asking, does email include IABS? Do we need to add it as part of the signature? That is completely up to you. I know for information about brokerage services, I know that at least the site has to have it, but I'm unaware of the email requirements for that, for email signatures or anything like that. That's something I would consult with your leadership team on. If that makes sense, Melvin. No problem. Sorry, it took me a while to answer that question. Does anyone else have any questions before I actually go ahead and show you guys how to import contacts?
It's me again,
Yes.
Magdalena.
Yes.
I was looking at my profile where it says MLS hashtag, and it had a like KHI. It's that like my profile name? I was not aware of that.
So if I go ahead and take a look at your profile again, this MLS number here is just the MLS ID number that's associated with you, with just you as a person within, I believe you're using Houston Association of Realtors.
Okay.
So that's just the number that the system found or was manually added in. So that way your listings can then showcase on your profile on your site and everything
Okay.
like that too. So active and pending. I know Texas is a non-disclosure state, so no solds on the site at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Awesome.
Thank you.
No problem at all. Any other questions? Okay, perfect. So the next section I'm going to showcase to you guys is the import. So we'll actually go to our right-hand side here and then click on bulk import on this downward facing arrow. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for you right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to assign leads out to somebody today. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and Ezekiel, you're going to be getting leads today. So you may see, these may come to you in a little bit, but I'm going to be assigning you some things today. I'm just going to assign these out. Then what's also kind of cool is that you can also assign leads to marketing lists as well. So if you know that these leads are meant for a specific purpose or like a specific like marketing bucket or anything like that too, we can absolutely go ahead and then assign people to like a new list or anything like that as well. It's completely up to you. But what we're going to do is we actually are going to be using a CSV file import. That is the main way that we do it right now. And I highly recommend, extremely, and I put emphasis on that H for highly because it is that important that I pronounce every letter, is that you download this CSV file when you log in. This is our sample CSV file for how we want the clients to look when we do imports. And it helps a lot of headache making sure that your leads are getting in the right ways. Now, it's mainly for formatting. The columns don't have to match and everything like that too. And I'll actually show you why in just a second. But it's really important that you do follow this checklist down below here, as well as downloading the CSV file so you can see how we format things in our system and everything like that too. Another question I always do get is that how do we update leads in the system, or how do we prevent duplicates or anything like that? The emails have to match. So if you want to update your lead over and over again, I always recommend using the same file and then just adding more info on to the end. But always make sure that the emails match. Otherwise, you'll create a new contact. So if I have johnsmith@johnsmith.com, but then if I have johnsmith1@johnsmith.com, that's technically two separate emails. So definitely make sure you comb through your files, your Excel spreadsheets, your CSV files, and everything like that. And make sure that you do delete duplicates and everything like that as well. And you'll actually see here in a second why that's going to be important. So I'm going to go ahead and browse my system here. And I'm going to go ahead and add in my own file here. And it's just a test file. So Sorry, Ezekiel, you're getting some fake leads today. My apologies. I'm going to go ahead and just find that section there. And I'm going to go ahead and also put in a confirmation email address. I'm just going to put in my own for today, and I can actually forward over what that will look like to your management team. And then they can share it with all of you. Essentially what comes out of this report is going to be how many leads made it in, how many leads didn't make it in, and why. And then if there were already any leads in the system, mainly because our system usually does a one-to-one approach in terms of contact to agent. So always make sure that emails are all set and working. And if it's already in the system, then it may already be assigned to somebody else or anything like that too. So just make sure of that. But I'm gonna go ahead and click this button here. And the reason why I say it doesn't have to exactly match our system in every way is because we have a lot of fields that we can choose from, but right now I only have 7, right? So I have first name, last name, which these are essential to have separate. Please do not combine first and last names in your files at all. And then next we can go ahead and we have tags. So like if I actually want to go ahead and choose a field, I can actually scroll down within our system and choose where this section is going to go. Now, I do have a section for tags, so I'm going to go ahead and import that here. And I'm also going to go ahead and choose lead type because it's not formatted like the actual file was. So I'm going to go ahead and choose lead type right here. Now, country of origin, I was using this with another client of mine around Texas as well, just because she had some South American clients that she wanted to bring in and she wanted to denote where they were coming from. But in my system, I don't have a section for country of origin. We don't have that. We don't have that as an importable thing. We have like address, city, state, and zip. We don't have that kind of information, unfortunately. But let's say I want to use this in a separate section. Right now, my mouse is over comments, so I can actually import it there if I want to, or I can just import it straight to the notes, and it's already available there. So I can go ahead and I can just click on this, and then that way, if I do a quick import, all that information will then be brought in. And usually how long it takes for those leads to actually come in and everything like that too. It does take about a minute per lead, so half a minute to a minute per lead, based on how much information you pull in, and then how many columns you have and how many leads you have. So if you have like 1,000 leads with columns from ranging A to AA or anything like that, which is like 27 columns, then it's going to take 1,000 minutes at that point. So always make sure you're going through your things, denote what's important, get rid of what isn't, just so the system can recognize it faster and get things going and everything like that too. Does anyone have any questions on that import that I just did? Nope. Okay. Another cool thing that you can actually do with our system is actually do bulk actions. So within our system right now that we do have, let's say I want to go ahead and I want to click on this left-handed box next to the name column here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to do this for just a few people. I can do it if I click it, I can do it for a full page or just every lead within the system, but I don't want to touch all those. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to touch a few of these test leads right now and see what I can do with them. So if I actually go ahead and see that these 6 items are actually selected, I can go ahead and I can unassign these leads, which they are unassigned. I can export them and I can delete them. I can also do more actions as well. In this case, I can actually do a bunch of different things. Like I can add contact tags to people. I can add them to a list. I can apply an action plan. I can assign to other agents because I have an admin access. But I can also do more important things too. Like I can remove people from a list, remove tags, but I can update priority, status, and type as well. So let's say I want to update priority today. I want to make sure that all my contacts here are the highest priority because they are, and they're super special, even though they are test leads at this moment in time. I'm gonna go ahead and update those. And now let's say I want to go back and find those leads again, which are pretty cool. So we actually do have this funnel over here on the left-hand side. I can go ahead and I can scroll down. I can search by status, assignment. So are they unassigned or are they my own leads? Do they have an invalid email or mobile phone? I can do agent because I can see who they are assigned to. Are they a specific lead type? Are they a different priority? I'll go back here in just a second, but I can actually go ahead and even do different searches as well. Like what's their name? What's their address? What's their phone number? All this kind of stuff here. I can also do reverse prospecting. So how did I find out about them? How was I created? What's their current housing situation? Did they come in from a dynamic form? Were they created a certain day, or were they created today? Did they come in from an import? Or anything like that too. Like I can even choose multiple options. What's their active range? What's their marketing fields? Or did they come in off of a drip campaign, or do they have a drip campaign assigned to them? Do they receive saved searches? Were they created before or after certain dates within the system? Do they have that rating system? Do they have a tag, or do they even have a field that's not even filled out? Do they not even have a phone number? Do they not have an address? Do they not have an email address too? You can also choose that kind of information. Do they have a specific tag that I want added to the system? But what I want to go ahead and do is go ahead and search for leads that were created today and that were brought in via import that also have the highest priority. So I can go ahead and I can do an advanced search here for that. Actually, I'll just hit search now in the top right hand side, and no one fits that bid, which is totally fine. What I actually just want to do instead is I just want to do lead priority, and that's it. So let's just go ahead and just do highest priority for right now. Then those leads are going to be my highest priority, because these leads were brought in on the 6th, which is why the import didn't really take, because they were already available within the system. So let's actually go ahead and let's actually let's just make sure that we can find these leads again. A fun way on how to do that is actually going to be a save filter. So how we actually do this is if we save this filter and we want to try and find these leads again, we can in an easier way. So I can go ahead and I can rename this like highest priority leads. And I can go ahead and I can save this directly, which then allows me to go ahead and then find this filter again. So let me go ahead and clear this out. And then I'm actually able to go ahead to this filter list on the right hand side to the right of save filters. And I can go ahead and scroll down just a little bit further. Here's my highest priority leads here. So as soon as I click that button, it allows me to find my highest priority leads and everything like that here as well. So that's actually everything I wanted to go over within the contact section and listing so far. Does anyone have any questions? I know we have about 10 minutes left, but I wanted to make sure I gave you guys some time to ask some questions in case you did have them. Am I gonna have to pull out a Bueller? Nobody? Okay. I will keep going. There is actually going to be one thing I will show, actually 2 more things I'll show for your agent profiles, and I'll actually show you for transactions what you'll need to do to link your .loop account to our system and everything like that too. So within transactions, you always want to make sure that when you do in fact log in, you'll actually be able to go ahead and click on configure service in the top right hand corner. And when you want to do that, our system will actually tell you that each agent will need to authorize the connection for their own .loop account. So making sure that you do have access to your own .loop and everything, make sure that you go ahead and click on this and then sync with .loop. Then the system will actually go ahead and have you log into .loop and everything like that too. I don't have a login, so I can't show you what that would look like on your side. However, our system will allow you to go ahead and sync that information to then go back to your transaction section. And it will only show your transactions when you do have everything added in and everything like that too. So that's how you actually go ahead and add in your own transactions and everything. Last thing I would want to make sure that you at least have ready before we even meet next week is that when you go ahead and you go to your My Profile in the top right-hand corner, I want to make sure that whenever you edit your profiles or anything like that, it'll tell you to actually edit yourself one more time. Right now, my information won't actually showcase a lot of these things because it's just an admin account for everybody to use. I want you to go ahead and go away from primary information since that information is already filled out, unless you want to make sure you do have your cell phone added in here and everything like that too. To then actually scroll down to profile settings. This section is going to be important for you because you want to make sure that your image is in there, your bio image, your list box image. So that way, if there's a listing associated with you, because you have your MLS ID added in there, then that will also showcase on any listings. You can then add in personal information about yourself, like a courtesy title or a professional title and what languages you speak. You can display your active and pending properties for the system. You can also put in a video about yourself if you want to. And you can also go ahead and put in a bio about yourself too. Any agent highlights that you may have on there as well, which is pretty cool. And then we also have here your email signature. Please make sure if it's not already added, please make sure you update and add in your email signatures because we do have a way in our system to then bring this information in dynamically for leads that are assigned to you. And if you don't, then it'll just say like in parentheses, like user, like agent email signature, and it'll look kind of silly, but I'll show you why it'll look that way next week. But I want to spend the last 5 minutes going over any questions that anybody has from anything I have talked about today. Everybody is just so stunned that they learned so much fun information today. I kid. I actually am kidding. I'm sorry. I don't like to sound that crazy. Oh, we may have one in the chat. Perfect. Gene actually asked, do we have an app for PropertyBase? The answer is yes, we do. And it's actually going to be linked to, and it's actually going to be linked directly to the CRM. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pass that link along to your leadership team so that afterwards you are able to go ahead and search for it. But it is the PropertyBase Go mobile app. So if you do go into your Google Play Store or your Apple Store, the App Store within the iPhones, yes, I haven't downloaded an app in a while. You'll be able to go ahead and search for PropertyBase Go in full letters. And then what you'll be able to do is log into that to then access the CRM to then reach out to your clients on the go and everything like that too. I'll pass along an article for everyone to take a look at. So everyone will be able to go ahead and then see that information as well. I'll also go ahead and I will post it in here just so everybody has that information. I'm just going to pause my screen really quick just because I do have to go to a separate screen to get that information. And then I'm going to put that info in here. So thank you, Gene. I'm going to put that right there. That way everyone will have access to it. And then anyone who has the link recording afterwards will also have that information too. You'll have mainly the CRM functionality on the app. So you can send listings, you can reach out to contacts and everything like that. But for drip campaigns and marketing, you'll still have to do that within the actual desktop version and everything like that as well. But you'll be able to reach out to contacts directly, be able to text and be able to email them directly. But you'll still have a lot of the same functionality on that portion, like in this case for like contacts and listings and tasks. Marketing you will still have to do on the back end on a desktop. No problem. And that was Leo who asked that question. Does anyone have any final questions? Okay. What I'll do is I'll be sending over the recording to your leadership team as soon as I receive it. What I would like to make sure that we all know is that the next time that we do in fact speak is that we're going to be going over the marketing section. So essentially how to create a drip campaign, email blast, and text blast, and how we add clients to what's called lists. So how do we reach out to clients via lists and everything like that as well. So that way we can organize our leads a little bit better and everything like that too. I really do appreciate everybody's time today and your attentiveness, especially on a Friday right before lunchtime. And I hope everyone has a wonderful and great weekend. Thank you all very much. And Of course. Yep, thank you. I'm seeing everyone type in the chat now. Of course. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me talk to you today. And thank your team too. I'm glad I'm getting to be able to talk to so many people at once about the product and everything like that too. I hope everyone has a chance to work on it, or at least take a look at it before we meet next week. And then if you have questions next week, we can start out with those as well.
Thank you, Alec. We appreciate everything.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll let you guys enjoy your day and take care. Bye-bye. Those, everyone's probably heard the message. It's going to start recording. If there was no one here from last time, or if you all maybe remember me, hello. My name is Alec Pokranowski, and I work for Lone Wolf Technologies, your current website and CRM provider. And today what we're going to be talking about is the marketing portion of the CRM. We're going to be going into a little bit of goal setting, so you'll learn how to go ahead and update your goals within your own profile, and also show you where the help center is too. So that way, if you do have any questions after today, you'll be able to reach out to our support team and be able to see where you can also get more information, more assistance and everything like that too from our side and everything like that as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And right now, your site is actually technically live now, so your clients can actually go to it at thehousematchmakers.com. For everyone who's just joining, to make sure that you do log in to the back end of the website, you'll actually go into the top right-hand corner, and I'll actually log out just to showcase this to you. You'll log in the top right-hand corner here. Then you'll put in your email address that you have on file with your team here. And then the password, I believe we may have set it up to just be 1234. So that way, when you do log in, just put in your email address and your password, and you'll actually log in to the back end of the site to then show you the admin section. And this is actually where you'll initially log in to then go to the rest of the sections of your site and everything like that too. But today, what we're going to be focusing on is going to be marketing. So last time we talked about how to add in clients manually, how to import them, the important portions of the client profile and everything like that too, as well as how to filter and also do bulk actions to them. Now, how do we actually reach out to our clients in bulk as well? We can message them individually, text them individually, but we want to make sure we can reach out to them as well. So let's actually go ahead and talk about that today by clicking on our marketing tab up here in our top menu. Here that you'll actually see that it starts off with your campaigns in terms of what you can actually see. We have some ones that I've tested last month with everybody here, with your management team, and then some other campaigns that I kind of showcased to them. And then we have all these ones that will be available to you as well within the back end of your sites once they do in fact become available. Here is technically where I don't like to start, even though we can technically start creating campaigns and e-blasts and everything from here. Where I do want you to focus your attention is actually going to be the section called lists. Now, I'm going to move my screen over to that section now. And what lists are is essentially every contact who's going to be on your list based off of something. Like here, this is Abigail Flores's all contacts. She has 27 contacts. That means that she can use this list to send information out to 27 people at once. It could also be your buyers, your sellers, people who searched in the local Houston area or anything like that too. You can play around with that, or San Antonio or anything like that too, or just anywhere around Texas, or other things, low priority, high priority, status. I say a lot of these things without showing, but to show is better than to tell. So let's actually go ahead and create a list from scratch so that you all can see what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and click on the right-hand side where it says create, and we're going to create an email list where your contacts will in fact live. So right now, I'll give this a marketing name that everyone can just find. So today is the 21st, so I'm just going to call it test 721. And this list essentially is going to be usable for everybody who wants to use it. And I'm going to make it available here. And then what I'm also going to do is showcase to a few things and how to add in leads a little bit easier. So you can just have a blank list, right? And you can actually control who actually joins this list in certain ways. You can add a contact directly here. So if I just want to add myself to this list, since I'm also a contact, I can add myself here. You can also go ahead and import leads if you'd like to. So if you want to go ahead and import new contacts, you absolutely can. So any new contacts that you have that you want to add to a specific list or anything like that too, you can go ahead and go through the import process just like we did when we went through importing contacts last week. Then the fun part, which is really cool, that allows our system to be a little bit more user-friendly in this case and allows you to have a lot less work to do, is using what's called a smart list. Now, a smart list is a really cool way that our system automatically brings leads onto a marketing list. So you don't have to go ahead and do it, but it's all based on the client's profile and everything like that too. So if I actually scroll down in this first section called primary options, you can see that there's a lot of general information like full name, first name, last name, addresses. I'm not gonna have a list full of Daves, but if you do know, let's say someone's address and you know like a lot of people from your leads are, or let's say in town A, you can put in town A. And then you can go ahead and then save this, and then all the people in town A can show up on this list. We also have these options up here, which I think are going to be a little bit more helpful for you. So when our leads, when were they created? And this can be a generalization of time or range or anything like that too. And you'll see that in just a little bit. Are they available? Were they created today, this week, this month, this past quarter, this quarter to date, this year, and some other things that will also be available. Prior to 30 days ago, next week, balances of information, you can also include that too. When were they updated? So when was the client's profile last updated, and the same options that we have before. And then even birthdays. So if you do want to send out that happy birthday message to your clients, which we always encourage, you can absolutely include people on that list. So if you know people that have a list this month and you just want to send out a blast for their birthday, you can choose this month instead as just an option. If I scroll down just a little bit further, we'll also have a section called removing mismatches. And this means that if a client no longer or contact no longer matches this list, let's say I have a contact who's a buyer and then that person becomes a seller, we actually then remove that seller from our list, and then we can automatically add that person to another list as well. So that way the person who is now a seller doesn't receive all the information on buying from you. They'll then receive information on sellers. And I just use buyer and seller as just a generic example. You can do this for any type of combination of lead archetypes and things like that you would want to use. But a lot of that information in terms of bringing in like contact types, statuses, and you can kind of see down below like reverse prospecting, are brought in through the advanced options, which is more of our robust, kind of more granular section of information where you can bring in as many leads as you can based on specific things. So you can do searches based on cities, towns, subdivisions, counties, neighborhoods, zip codes up in this line here. I highly recommend to do the same type of location. So do all counties in this section, do all cities in this section, or do all zip codes in this section. I wouldn't recommend to mix and match at this time. You can also include people who are searching for certain price ranges, beds, baths, acreage, square footage, and we also include property status. And then even further down goes into the actual sections of the contact profile. So what's their contact type? So I'm looking for people that are buying and selling, or other, or just my buyers and sellers. How'd they hear about you? And you can even choose multiple options. So if I go ahead and I choose internet search and agent, right? I can choose that. And then anyone who comes in from an internet search or came in from an agent, I can go ahead and add that in. What's my current housing situation? What's my buying time frame? Even down a little bit further down below here, we have contact status and even active range. So how long have they been active on your site for? Were they active this month to date, this quarter, this year, anything like that? We can bring that in too. Even more information down below, like who were they assigned to? Are they active on another marketing list? Or do they have anything subscribed to them, like a market insight for market statistics? Or are they created before or after, updated before or after, or even active before or after a certain date? So if you need to find a certain grouping of leads or anything like that too, this might be a little bit easier for you to be able to reach out to a bunch of them by, let's say, I want to find ones that were created after June 30th, but then before August 1st. So that way we have all of my people in there that are created between June and in August and everything like that too. You can go ahead and just delete that for now. We have more options even further down below. Even further down here, we have, did they sign up on an agent website? Were they created by agents such as yourselves? Do they have saved searches? Do they have a valid mobile phone? Were they from a referral? Is their birthday between a specific date and time? Do they have a rating system? Do you have a general tag that you guys want to use, like the custom champion student or anything like that too? Do they have any fields that they don't have? Do you have all your people that don't have phone numbers? So this is like your email only list. Do you have people that don't have any emails? So this is your call or text only list, or any addresses or any information like that too. And then I also have contact tags as well. So I can also bring in my leads that have these two tags in here as well. So I can go ahead and add that information in. I'm just going to hit save really quick. And then we're going to move on to our next step, which is going to be then creating the drip campaign. But I wanted to take a second and ask if anyone has any questions before I move on to my next step. Does anyone have any questions? And just remember, if you are trying to ask a question, you are muted in here, so you might just have to unmute yourself if anyone has any questions. Speechless. I like it. Let's go ahead and start creating a drip campaign, an email blast, and a text blast. So that way you can kind of see how each functionality will work, as well as how you'll be able to send it to multiple clients at once. So let's go ahead and create a drip campaign to start off with. And what we'll do as of right now is I'll just call it test. So I'll call it test 721. And what I'll actually show you guys how to do is how to clone these campaigns. So essentially you can reuse the one that we create for you, but you can't edit the original. That way, if everyone tries to edit the original at the same time, then it's all going to be major changes, but I'll show you how to go ahead and use brokerage ones in a more efficient way to make it usable for yourselves. But to initially create one, you'll give it a name. You can put in a description in here if you want. And then this campaign will always be created for you. I can make it for more people and for other agents and even just myself if I want to, since I'm an admin here. But the next step we're actually going to be focusing on is probably the most important step within this section here. So adding in the steps to your drip campaign, your nurturing emails or actually text messages that you can send off to your clients that have valid cell phone numbers. So I'll go ahead and add in a version of both. So I'll add in an email event and a text event. And right now, both steps are technically incomplete. Now, the reason why they're incomplete is because nothing's filled out. So we can actually go ahead and fill this out. I'll just call this email 1 for our drip campaign. Actually, I'll just call it email 721, just so we have it. And then we have the email subject line, and this can be whatever you want. Let's say it's like an initial email. So I'll just say welcome to our website. It's going to be our initial one here. Next, we'll make sure we actually fill out our send delay here. So you can actually choose it to just be sent out immediately, which means that when someone receives this, it's going to be usually within about a minute or so. Or you can actually go ahead and choose a numerical value, which then has you choose a time value as well, like minutes, hours, days, weeks, or months. So you're able to go ahead and then include that information. I'll set it for 1 minute. And then further down, for let's say this send delay, you don't want to send something the same day. It seems a little redundant to try and reach out to someone multiple times within the same day. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose, let's say I have this to be 1 day afterwards. So then someone will just receive this text message 1 day after the initial email is being sent out. Now, our steps are still not complete yet. For this initial step, for it to be complete, we actually have to go ahead and either design an email or choose content. You can actually choose either button to go to our next step. I'm just going to go ahead and click on design email to start off. And what you can do in our system is you can actually do one of two things. You can create a new email from scratch, or you can actually go ahead and create and actually choose an email blast from the actual brokerage. So you can actually go ahead and even reuse information as well. So you don't have to start all over again. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on this section for new listings for buyer client. And this is the name that's going to be once we go ahead and make our adjustments to it. I'm going to create content right out of that. Now see what we have here. On the right-hand side, we have our different sections like our logo section, which then allows you to go ahead and adjust the logo in terms of size or width or anything like that too. So in this case, I just made it a little bit bigger and I can add some padding to it. I can also change the background to it if I want to. So let's make it completely beet red, or I think our colors are kind of closer to teal. So we can obviously do that if we truly want to. We can also go ahead and go to our other sections as well. So down below here, you might see here that this is actually going to be our header section. And you can see the content types that we have in this left-hand side for titles and texts and images you can add in. And I'll go through with some of the important ones that we'll have available here as well. So I'll go ahead and I'll showcase to you here information you can actually change up so it looks a little bit nicer. So instead of obviously having this explanatory text on here, we can go ahead and say test title. So you can just have that here. Or if you want to, let's say, make it more personable or anything like that, we actually have a cool feature that if I actually click on this section called insert user token, this actually pulls in the first name of your leads when they go ahead and receive these emails. So if I want to go ahead and it just says, hey, it'll say, hey, Alec, instead of just saying, hey. You know, it's going to be pulling in my name and my information specifically. Even further down below, you can make it bolder. You can change the font coloring. You can change alignment if you want to, and even change the size of the font. Let's make it super big, so you can definitely use it. That's a little too big. Let's not make it that big. You can definitely play around with the font family. So if you don't like certain ones, I want to change it to trebuchet because I think it's a funnier word. I can make it look a little bit nicer that way. But it's all dependent on your own personal taste. You can change it to whatever information you'd like, but we do have constrictions within the platform for just what we want on here. Next section here is going to be the text section. It actually does allow you just to write and link things within the actual website itself. So if you want to go ahead and let's say we just delete this section up here because I don't want a title on here, I can actually even go ahead and do that just by clicking this trash can on the far right hand side. So I'll actually get rid of that. I'm going to go ahead and actually put in my initial hello up here. So it'll say, hey, and then insert first name for the person. And as you can kind of see here, there's even more information, even sections to even go ahead and pull in such things as an email signature. And wouldn't you know it, we actually do have a user agent's email signature in here as well. I do want to take a moment to talk about this, but I'll talk about that in just a few minutes. So it'll include first name. So that way, if I receive this, it'll say, hey, Alec. Below are several listings on so-and-so. We want to make sure we're letting you know that kind of information, everything like that too. And then it allows us to go ahead and then pull in more information. Right now, this specific section here on the right, we do have a listing that we can actually pull in. And this is information we're actually pulling in from your MLS right now. So if I go ahead and I choose the number 12, let's say I'm going to pull in 279 Barracuda Street in Bayou Vista, Texas. It's 385, 3 beds, 2 baths, nice looking home. And then it gives us the listing agent, license number, and that kind of stuff too. If you scroll down, we can change the font coloring. We can change the line spacing, background color of it. We can also change the description so I can actually see it since I'm blind. And we can also see more information like the agent info and everything like that too. You can include square footage if you like to. You can include type if you want to as well. But then you can also exclude information if you want to. If you don't want to show that it's Sylvia's, you don't have to. Or if you don't want to show the price, you don't have to. So people can just click on the link and then see it for themselves. Or to showcase if it's full baths versus half baths, you can go ahead and do that too. And it looks like it's 2 full baths, which is great. Even further down below here, you even have it so it's even more properties on here as well. So we actually have a number of properties you can choose from. You can choose up to 3. And the fun thing with this too is, let's say I have one property here for 3211 Hickory Brook Lane in Houston. I can go ahead and actually I'll put in one more as well, just so we have it in 16210 Olive Glen Drive. I can actually go ahead and even change it so it includes multiple images on here as well. So if you want to choose more, we absolutely can. For this one, let's say I don't want to just have an interior look at 3211 Hickory Brook Lane. I can also go ahead and choose new photos if I want. Now, the initial photo is always going to stick there. We can't change that one, but you can change the secondary ones if you want to. I think this kitchen looks great. I'm gonna take in that kitchen. And then I'm also going to go ahead and see if we have, let's say, a nicer looking outdoor view of the home too. So if I go ahead and I hit save, now you can see down below here, pictures have changed here and here. For this nice home up here, we can go ahead and even choose those photos and have those be a little bit different. Go ahead and then choose the new one photos for there. I guess it's not going to let me do it today, and that's fine, but we're able to go ahead and choose multiple photos if we'd like to. And now in this final section here, you may see that there's a little bit of white in between. We do have a section to input the agent email signature. So one of the topics today is making sure that everybody goes ahead and adds that information in. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to showcase to you where that is. So if you go to the far right in your profile, so if you go ahead and see this little image, it's going to be a picture of yourself in here. I want you to go ahead and I'm going to right click and open it in a new tab, but you want to edit your own profile. And then you'll want to edit yourself just one more time to make sure that that information is there. You want to make sure that we actually go ahead and scroll down to our profile settings. This allows us to go ahead and put in our bio information, also adds in our photo if we want to. We can put in a courtesy title, specific professional titles if you want to, display your listings on here. Your active and your pending, I know for sold, since you're Texas, you can't. Even showcase what languages you want to speak as well. But we also want to go ahead and make sure we put in our bios. People want to know about us, know who they're selling to and everything like that as well, which is always good. Also brag a little bit, show off your agent record a little bit. Say I was the best. Well, don't lie, but say that you're the best realtor around, except unless you sit to the best realtor around, who knows? You can absolutely add that information in if you'd like to. And then lastly on here is going to be your agent email signature. Please add these in. If you do not take the time to add these in, I will actually showcase to you right now what people see if you do not add it in. I'm actually going to go ahead back to the email. So I did switch my screen back. And if I actually go back up to the text section, this is actually going to look a little better up here than it will down there. I'm going to go ahead and after interested, I'm going to insert my user info right down here. Go ahead and put in user agent signature. That's what people are going to see if you don't put in your email signatures and you start sending things out from the site. Please put those in. You don't want to look like that when people do in fact receive it. It'll take you a minute to do it, or at least copy it from your current email to then paste onto your profile. Just please take the time to do it as soon as possible when you do log in and play around with your profiles, hopefully in between our sessions and after today as well. All right, well, now that we're happy with our email and how it looks, let's go ahead and save that information. And it's actually going to take us to fill out our next step, which is technically still incomplete. Reason being is we actually do have a text to fill out down below. So here, which is pretty cool, we can go ahead and I can just say, hey, and I'll include my first name here. I'll say, hey, Alec. And then let's say I'll just put in, let's talk soon about real estate. I can spell today. There we go. And then that's it. You'll just include that message, but then it'll also include your name and your brokerage on there, as well as if you'd like to stop receiving text messages, we do have to include that. There is no way that we can remove that information from our system at this time. I should also let you know that there is going to be a character count on these text messages. And it is 155 characters. So if you do write a lengthy message out, just be prepared that it may split into two, but it's not gonna split it into two. So let's say it stops between so like soon. It's not gonna be like so and on about real estate. It's going to take about the next 2 to 3 words, actually the 2 to 3 words before it, and turn it into a complete sentence. Our system is smart enough to go ahead and do that. But just to let you know, there is a character limit of 155 characters, which includes spaces and apostrophes and all, and punctuation and all that too. So just be aware when you're sending out messages, don't send out too many lengthy ones, because it may or may not come in just as one full message. Just to let you guys know. And then just to make sure that we can actually complete this step, let's just go ahead and just call it text 721. And that's it. We can actually move forward. Our next section is going to be defining recipients. So why did I show you how to create a list beforehand? Because it now plays into effect here. Who are we going to be sending our stuff to? Who are the intended leads that are going to be receiving this? Who are our contacts that this is for? Not particularly this one, because it doesn't look great. But we want to make sure that if we have coherent information, you want to send it to our clients, and at least to make sure that we send it to the right type of clients too. You don't want to be sending seller information to buyers to tell them how the seller's market's great, when buying as a person, like right now, I recently bought a home and it was so hard to find a home. I don't want to get how great selling is when I'm trying to buy, and it's going to make me angry and upset. Not actually, but someone could take it that way. What we want to make sure that we do is we can actually choose who we're going to be sending it to. So we have here a little bit further down, we have our test list right here. So I added in my test for 7/21. I can go ahead and include that. I can also bring in another test list. So Clara's on the line, and I know I'm not actually going to send this out today, but we can also bring in multiple lists at once. So I'm going to go ahead, and if you ever want to check who's going to be on those lists beforehand, you can absolutely click on the gray boxes themselves and then see who's going to be on that list before you send it out. So if I go actually ahead and scroll down a little bit further, here are our test leads, including myself, that we're going to be who are going to be on this list at this moment in time. And you can also see that a bunch of them have unsubscribed because their test information, they don't have a mobile phone number except for me, and that's it. If I actually go back and see those test lists by Clara, or the test information by Clara, I can also see who's on there if I want to, but since that's a personal list, I'm not going to go ahead and do that. I can do that since I have the power to do that. But let's say we want to even remove it. I can go ahead and remove that today. Let's actually go ahead and then click next. And now this is our final step, reviewing it and activating it. This allows us to see who's going to be part of the campaign member list. So we can see that everybody here is on here that is eligible to receive information. So anyone who's actually not who's unsubscribed or anything like that, or when they were added or anything like that too, is going to receive that information. And then we can also see stats when they're received, like when was it opened, how many were delivered, did it bounce, did it were they clicked open or anything like that too, for any of the links that may be in here. You'll see these stats within this section. Same with the text messages. Was it open? Did it bounce or anything like that too, to make sure that it is a correct cell phone number. You can activate this whenever you want to. However, you can also save it as a draft, or if you actually go ahead and even click on view all, it also saves it as a draft as well. Now, let's say you want to use something that the brokerage has created, and this will also be helpful for recreating email blasts and text blasts as well. If anything does come down from the brokerage or anything like that, I did want to showcase this to you. So let's say I'll just use my test 7/21 drip campaign. On the far right-hand side, there's a few things you can do. You can pause it if it's active. This pausing it allows you to stop the drip campaign going on at whatever step it's on. You can send it as a test. So if you want to test this on yourself, you can technically bring in a contact, and then you can go ahead and then put in your own email address in here. So let's say that if I'm just going to choose someone from our list today that we have. So if I'm Beverlyn Velasquez, right, and I want to make sure that my lead John Smith is going to be receiving this, you can put John's information here, Bevelyn, or anyone, and then you can put your own personal email address in here to make sure that you will receive any test emails or texts or anything like that within here as well. So you can test things out on your own. If we do put this in here, that if you do email with our test functionality, this email will not go to anybody. Just make sure you do put in a valid email address like yours or a personal email address for yourself, at least to test it out to see how it looks down here to make sure that it in fact works. Lastly, over to the right, besides editing and deleting, we have this section called clone. Now, clone is a fun word, just means to duplicate. That's it. If I go ahead and click on this button here, it then allows us to go ahead to clone our drip campaigns, our copies and everything like that too. And if you go through the main steps again, all we really need to do, everything's pretty much the same. If you want to make any adjustments or anything like that, you can absolutely do that too if you'd like. The only thing you would really want to make sure that you do include is to then choose if you're making a buyer's list, but then you created one just for sellers as well, and you're just making some slight adjustments, then you can choose a new list of leads that you want to send it to. And I actually can't go to that review and activate stage because I haven't chosen anybody yet. But if I go back to marketing, you actually see here, it's going to be here. It just says copy of test. So you can rename it if you want to, or anything like that as well, if you want to make an edit or anything like that too. Does anyone have any questions before I go ahead and create an email blast as well? And you can also ask questions about editing your profile too, since we also went over that today. Right. All right. Clara asked me a question. Actually, Clara, do you mind if I just say this out to everybody? Okay. So Clara asked me a question to add gifts to an email. I don't believe we can right now. I can always double check, but from my understanding is we can't send out gifts in our emails, like those little funny pictures. I don't believe we can. I can double check, Clara, just to make sure, but I'll let you know. But from right now, from my understanding, I haven't seen anyone be able to send out gifts at this moment in time. Anybody else have any questions? And if you want to unmute yourselves, that's also fine too. Okay. Next step we're going to do is just create an email blast, which is just going to be a one-off email, or a fun thing that you can actually do is make it a recurring email as well. You can actually see 2 copies here because I did copy the original campaign. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this copy that I want to have, and I'm just going to call it eBlast 721, and I'll make it for the whole company so everybody can use it if they want to, or reuse it. Once I go ahead and create that, it allows us to go ahead to our modify and edit contents stage. But what you do want to make sure that you do ahead of time as well is you want to make sure you also click on this edit info button here. Want to make sure that it's also, you give it a subject line. So I'll just type in hello there. So let's say it's like a quick hello or something like that to send out to your leads. You want to make sure that the subject line is on there. If you want to make any adjustments to your email blast or anything like that, you absolutely can, or the email content within here. But let's say we have a button on here that I want to add in. So I can go ahead and add on this button. And then if I want it to go to anywhere specific, I can actually go ahead and let's say I'm just going to bring the site here. So I'm just going to copy the link to the site. And then I'll actually go back to our link here and just copy and paste this here. So any internet link will go in there. And then you can have this button say visit our website. So I can go ahead and I can put in an exclamation, any of that kind of stuff. I can change the font. I can change the button color and also change the size of it too. I can also increase the size of our button by making it just physically bigger with the font size as well. I can make it bolder. I can make it lighter in terms of actual text. And I can play around with that as much as I'd like to as well. And also, if you ever want to move around sections or anything like that too, like we want this signature to be at the very bottom, I can go ahead and click and drag on these sections too. So that way our signature is going to be at the very bottom as well. but I'm happy with how this looks. So what I'm actually going to go ahead and do is click save. That should take me over to my next step, which is going to be choosing the recipients. But you also may see sender and schedule. You're going to see a few smaller extra steps that the drip campaign didn't have. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my test list again. And then I'm going to go ahead and choose who it's coming from. I've already added in the subject line. It's going to be coming from you, so no worries about choosing who it's going to be coming from. And then this is going to be the important section. So we're going to be scheduling this out as well. So I can send it immediately, meaning that if I click activate on this, my leads are going to receive this in under a minute. Whoever's on that list that I just added on to. I can send this at a specific date and time. So I do have options. So let's say if I want to do a holiday email like every year, I can say I don't even know what the closest holiday is. I think it's Labor Day. So let's say or even beforehand, let's say, hold on, I don't know when Labor Day is this year. I think it's the 4th. So let's say it's going to be September 4th. I want to have a recurring email that goes out every year on September 4th, every month or every week. I recommend more non-moving holidays or floating holidays for that. But if you want to send out a yearly email on the 4th, every month on the 4th of each month, there's like a check-in email, or every week you can send an email on every Monday, sending it out to clients as well. So it's completely up to you. And then we can also have it so it's set up as a delivery limit. So if you do want to go ahead and have it go out every year and have a yearly email go out, or just choose it to go, let's say, up to 10 times total, that means it'll be either 10 years, 10 months, or 10 weeks. So that's completely up to you in terms of how you want to go ahead and do that. We also include sending on an anniversary. So this is all based on yearly information, and that it cannot be changed. So the yearly triggers that we do in fact approve of here is birthdays, closing dates, next follow-ups within the system, purchase and sale signing dates. So for those who may remember going through the contact profile, this information you can edit and change whenever the closing date was. You can edit and change purchase and sale signing dates. So those forms to make sure that the sale is final is also available in there as well. And then even PropertyBase Go creation. So when the lead was created in the site, you can also go ahead and add that information in too. Let's say I'm going to choose birthday. I can also choose when to send it out. So you can send it in at noon. So that way I'll get a birthday email from you guys at noon if I want to. You can send it out every number of years. So I can receive this email once every 5 years. And then I can also go ahead and set it up so I receive it 10 times every over the course of 5 years, I receive it 10 times total. So that'd be 50 years. So by the time I'm 80, I'm going to get this email telling me that it's my birthday and happy birthday. But that's completely up to you and how you want to be able to do that. Let's go ahead and I just send it immediately instead. I can click save or next to go to my next section here. So I'll go ahead and then click that. Then lastly, we have here on the left-hand side, we have the eBlast info, the list that's associated with it, and the delivery options as well. If I want to activate this, I can go ahead and do that. Or if I just want to save this as a draft, you can actually just click on View All eBlasts instead, and then it allows you to save it as a draft as well. So you can actually see that down towards the bottom right here. Any questions on creating an email blast? Okay. Next section we're going to be going over is creating a text blast. So creating a text blast is fairly simple. You'll just give your text a name. So text blast 7/21, which is the date today. You can put in a description if you want, and then you just type out your text, and that's it. So hey, and then you'll put in user first name or however you'd like to do it. What a great game last night. You can type in whatever you'd like here. You can also include links as well. So if you do want to go ahead and copy and paste links into your messages or anything like that, let me get back to my screen here. You can absolutely go ahead and include those. Our system actually makes them smaller. So if so, it doesn't take up a lot of the character count or anything like that too. So it'll just be like a PropertyBase Go, like a pdgo.com small link and everything like that too. So you won't have to worry about character count or anything like that as well. Next thing we'll do is choose our recipients. So we can go ahead and choose who we want to have go to whichever list. So I'll just choose my own list again. Please make sure that your leads, whenever you try and send a text out, have a valid cell phone number. Now, for those who may have not been on last week, I'm just going to briefly showcase this within our site. We do have an option to showcase invalid mobile numbers. How we can see an actual valid mobile number and how we know when it's valid is when this type is cell. It has to be a cell phone number. It cannot be work. It cannot be home. It cannot be fax. No, it has to be a cell phone number. How we can see that today, I can actually showcase this to you because you actually will be able to do this, is if you want to go ahead and see which leads have valid numbers or not, I'm actually going to go ahead and customize the header for this. So I'm going to add in a section for mobile number. And that way, if I apply this, you'll actually be able to go ahead and see who has a valid mobile number versus not. So you can actually kind of see here, which is great. Everyone here has valid mobile numbers, which is awesome. But let's say if you want to see who doesn't have one or anything like that too, we do have an invalid email versus mobile number. I can go ahead and I can click on that section there. These don't have, about 200 of your contacts don't have valid mobile numbers. So always make sure you do check that information whenever you're about to send things out. If you're just going to do email only, that's fine. If it's not going to send out via text message, you're going to know why. It's because your leads do not have valid mobile phones. Just as we're clear, does anyone have any questions on the mobile phone setting?
Yes, I have one. So
Yes.
your system automatically knows if this is an invalid cell phone, or it depends of the capture that we did when we put the customer information or the lead information.
You will have to put in the lead. Our system will be able to notify that if that cell phone type is not captured in there.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So you'd have to edit the lead to make sure that that information was already put in by them via the contact form, or if you are going to put in the information yourself, please make sure that you do add in the cell phone type. If it's not, then you cannot text your clients and your clients cannot text you back. Very good question. Any other questions regarding that? All right, let me get back to the text blast here. Next, we're just going to choose who the sender is. It's going to come directly from you, so no worries there. Then lastly, we're going to choose the scheduling, just like before. Send immediately, send at a specific date and time, or send on anniversary, completely up to you. Let's send immediately today, and then I'll just go ahead and I'll hit save. It functions as the same as the next in the top right-hand corner as well. Then this allows us to go ahead, and if I want to send this out, I can go ahead and I can click activate if I want to on either side here. But I just want to save this as a draft, and it does save you all eBlast instead. We are working on changing that, but we are just going to go ahead and click on view all eBlast. So that way everything here is going to be saved down here at the bottom. Now you can use these whenever you log into your own profiles, but always make sure that if you do want to reuse it and everything like that too, you will have to clone this ahead of time. So always make sure that you will, if you're going to use it, make sure that you do in fact clone it as well. Last few things I'm going to be going over today are also within your own profiles as well. So I'm actually going to be taking a second to go back to the agent profile too. So make sure that when you do want to edit your own profile, make sure you go ahead and click edit profile right here. And then I'll actually take you to this screen to then edit yourself as the agent. And then,
hey, Alec, quick question before we go to the next subject. I just wanted to confirm, when we were talking about invalid and valid contacts, invalid means that the contact was not saved as a cell number, or does it say invalid as this prospect gave us a wrong number?
they just don't have a cell phone number.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify that. So it's not an invalid number, it's just saved incorrectly. Or
that is correct. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And that's it. And then within contacts, you actually see within the filtering, it's only for invalid emails versus invalid phone numbers. And that's it. And that's for mobile specifically.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
No worries at all. Next section that I did want to showcase is to make sure that if you want to write down your goals, it's always a good thing to make sure that you have something to shoot for. So if you actually scroll down a little bit further within the actual profile here, so past profile settings, past your social media, you can add in your own information. You can also add in your business goals. So if you ever want to go ahead and meet with your leadership team, have something available to talk about, to be able to move forward, you can absolutely go ahead and put in like my 12-month goal, my things needed that I want to be able to do. And this is information you can add in for yourself, so your leadership team can see this, or you can just have this for yourself to be able to see on your own. At least to make sure you go ahead and have a plan for you to be able to be the best realtor that you can be. It's always good to have this information filled out and everything like that too. So if you want to make sure that you do in fact fill this out, please make sure that when you edit your profiles, you'll go past primary information, past profile settings, almost all the way down to the bottom until you can't scroll down anymore to then fill out your business goals. So always make sure that you guys are filling out your goals, making sure that you do have your information filled out. So that way your team can function as efficiently as possible. Now, the last thing I will be going over today is what happens if I need assistance? What happens if I need help? So we do have a team, our own support team here at Lone Wolf that is dedicated to assist you in any questions that you in fact have. So if you go in the top right-hand corner here, you can actually go ahead and search our help center. So we do have articles and we also have videos that you're able to go ahead and take a look at. So if you want to look at our help center, you can click this link here and be able to go to that kind of information. You can even go to our webinar training and sign up for webinars. We do weekly webinars on website design and CRM usage each week. So you are able to go ahead and then become a part of that weekly information, then receive a recording afterwards too of that as well. You can then also go ahead and go through our video libraries as well, even specific ones for yourselves too, if you need any specific tips and tricks or anything like that too. You can also submit a support ticket. So that way, or email us, both actually function the same way. You're able to reach out to our support team and they'll be able to help you with any questions, concerns, or anything like that. Should any arise while you're working with our services or anything like that too. Any questions on those last two things that I touched upon? Okay, well, that's everything I wanted to go over today. I really do appreciate everybody's time and willingness to meet on a Friday, especially. So thank you so much, everybody, for meeting me today. I'll be sending out the recording as soon as I receive it. So you should be receiving it from your leadership team shortly. I really do appreciate everyone's time again and everything like that too. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Alec. We appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.